What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to Carolina Custom Classics. Got in a bunch of parts for the 57 Chevrolet today. Gonna go ahead and start tuning it up, putting new radiator hoses on it, putting new fan belt on it, new gasket, valve cover gasket, rebuild the carburetor, all kinds of goodies here. Might divide this up into a couple or a few videos, but we're gonna go ahead and get started on it right now, so stay tuned. So the first thing we're going to do is start replacing this fan belt. ACDELCO part number 15405. Luckily, Rock Auto had all the parts that I would ever need for this 57 Chevrolet. So I'm very thankful for that, and I got it all at a good deal. So anyways, to put this on, I'm just going to loosen up the generator here. Just got one 1/2 inch bolt, and she'll go right on. Alright, so that's already loose because I forgot I already took off the other belt. So we're just going to put it around the fan belt. Get it around a couple. Spin the fan. Alright, good to go. Try and get it down on the bottom around the crank. I had to take off the lower radiator hose, and of course it wanted to break on me. So went ahead and bought a new one. Figured it would not hurt anything. Pretty tight. I have to move that in some. Boy. To move that in, just took off my jack handle. Just gonna push that in a little bit. Just like so. Now we got plenty of space to put the belt on. And get it on the crank. Back. Just like so. Alright. So there is that. Now, to tighten it, I'm just going to reverse it and push on it the other way. Just like so. Get it nice and tight, about like so. Then we're going to keep tension on it, and just tighten up our bolt. That way I won't have to worry about this belt popping on me when I'm going down the highway, like the old 55 Ford done one time. Left me stranded. And I'm going to keep the old belt just for an emergency in the trunk or something. It's always good to have a spare, you know. Get this joker on there. Alright. One more time. Good enough. Alright, so that's one down. You can see belt's nice and tight. Next, I think we're going to move on to putting in spark plugs. So for spark plugs, I went with the ACDELCO R43S. They're a really nice original looking spark plug, you can see, which is what I think originally would have came in this car. So I definitely wanted to stick with the ACDELCO as much as possible. Anyways, they're 13/16. Want to go ahead and start removing the old ones and putting in the new sparkulators. It's the next day. It got dark on me quick yesterday, but what we're going to do now is take out the spark plugs. That way I can spin the engine over easy by hand. That way I can set the points correct. Alright, so let's get at it. One good thing about when you taking out spark plugs on a car that hasn't had a tune-up in 30 years is the wires will stay where they need to stay, so you won't lose count of where each spark plug goes. Even though I got lucky enough and the guy numbered each plug wire, but it ain't really necessary for me right now. But I'm gonna go ahead and remove these wires. That way I can take out the plugs. Go ahead and get out them old jokers. Start over here. Hey. Alright, now let's get this one. Alright, so I just went ahead and broke all 6 of them loose. That way I can take my socket and just put on it. Take them out quicker by hand. That's how I like to do it. Alright, so there's number 1. Looks pretty rusty and crusty. The plug I just took out was a ACDELCO 45 actually. That might be the original plug, who knows. This car has only got, I think, like 30 something thousand original miles. So, might have only had one or no tune-ups in its life. Yeah, that's the AC45 too. There's plug number 2. Hope y'all can see that. Number 3. And of course you don't have to remove the spark plugs to do the points, but it does make it a lot easier to spin the engine over. You can bump it over with the starter inside the car, or you can hook up a 1-man 3000 and bump it over from in the engine compartment here. But I find it easier to just take the plugs out and do it by hand. Alright, last one. They all look to be firing, so that's good. Alright, so now we can take off the cap and get to the points. So to remove the distributor cap, got one clip on both sides. Take a small flathead screwdriver, try and get up under it and pry off. Ah, yay. What the Sam hell we got going on here? I'll just do like that. Now, get the cap out of the way. Now we can get to the points. Alright, to set the points gap, you want to get it at the highest gap, or the largest gap, which would be right here on the edge of the rotor here. So, how we're going to do that, spin it over by hand, and when it gets right here at the tip, excuse my fingernail, but when we get it right there at the tip, then we want to make sure with our feeler gauge that the points is about 19 thousandths of a gap. So, I'm going to go ahead and start trying to spin it over and get it to the highest point. As you can see, it's spinning, coming up on the ridge now. Alright, so that's the highest point right there. And as you can see, the points opened up. And now we're going to check the gap, see what it is. So let me go grab my feeler gauge. Alright, so obviously we're going to put in new points, but just to show you how you would check it. Like I said, I got it on 19 thousandths of an inch. So just want to slide it in the gap. You want to feel some resistance, but not a lot. Just want it to be kind of snug. And as you can see, this one's kind of loose. Still have a gap in it. So obviously these need some adjustment if you was going to keep them. But anyways, that's how we're going to change them out or set the new ones when we go to put them in. But for now, we're going to go ahead and start taking out the old ones. And on the stove bolt 235s, you gotta remove this nut here to start taking everything out. So we're gonna go ahead and start doing that. So to remove the points, you got this 11/32 nut here, which once you get that off, reveals the hidden location to remove the or loosen the screw that's holding on your points and your condenser wire there. So once I get this off, I'll bring you back. Alright, I hope y'all can see that. But see that slot? You gotta put your screwdriver in that and try and work that around to loosen it up. It's a little tricky, but usually you can get it with a flathead screwdriver. So I got the points in the condenser in, tried to clean it up the best I could. I done gapped it, got it good to go. So now I'm gonna change out the coil, and then I'm gonna check for spark. So the new coil I bought was too big for the bracket, so we bypassed the bracket altogether and put on this fuel pump bracket off of a 92 Dodge Dakota. Seemed to work perfect. Found a screw to put it on. Everything's good there. Points and everything is good. I got the battery charging with my new charger here. So we're going to give that a few minutes. Now I'm going to have somebody turn it over for me while I have y'all in right here and see if we get in spark. So stay tuned. Alright, we're gonna see if we getting some spark now. Alright, hit it. Oh yeah. Yeah, we getting good spark now. Alright, so now we're gonna put the cap rotor button on and go ahead put the wires Well, we're going to put then the plugs in and then the wires, but here we go. Brand new rotor button. Definitely want to make sure we got that on there. Done that many times. Put the cap on and go to crank it. And zoom, 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 zoom. No spark. I'm like, what the hell? Forgot to put the rotor button on, stupid. Alright, so now we're going to put on the new shiny cap. Man, I love a new spark plug, or a distributor cap. Spark plugs too, actually. Alright, so there's that. Come on. Alright, here's the line. Well, it was. Oh. Alright, there's that. Alright, so now what we're going to do is take off the ignition coil wire. Then we're going to find number 1 here. One, two, three, four, five, 6. Alright, so this is going to be number 1 right here. So we're going to go ahead and get number 1 on there. I got these Pro Series wires. Like I said, everything I got here is from Rock Auto. Now I'll put all the part numbers in the description. That way it make it a little bit easier for when y'all go to tune up y'all 57 and 235. Alright. Let's see. Trying to see. I think this is the right one here. Oh, it's pretty tight fit. Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and start putting in the new spark plugs. I found out that the ones that I took out of here were the factory ones, because I looked in my owner's manual last night, and ACDELCO 45s or 44s is factory in this car, and it said the 45s is just a hotter plug for driving in the city, and if you live in the country I guess you would want a number 44, I guess. I'm not really sure, but that's what it said. So I'm gonna go ahead and get in these ACDELCO R43S's. I'm gonna put them all in, then I'll go back over them and snug them up. Just get them all in finger tight. Just like that. Get some of these boxes out my way. I'm hoping this 57 will run like new now. It ran pretty much like new before. So I'm hoping it'll run really good now. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and finish getting these in, snug them up, and I'll be back with you. Alright, so all the plugs is in and gapped. I went ahead and got them at 40. I know the shop manual says 35, but I read online that you never want to set them at 35 for some reason. That the lowest you want to gap them at is 36. So the closer to 40 you can get, the better from what the guy said. So I'm going to just see what he says. Anyway, so now we're going to go to number 2. So here's number 2 right here. So number 2 wire. Go right there. Alright, now let's find number 3. So number 3 is going to be, I'm guessing right here. So there's number 3. let's do number 4. Let's find number 4. Number 4 is this one. Trying to figure out the best way to run these. Okay. This homemade bracket is kind of a little bit in the way. Now, let's find number 5. Alright, so this one's number 5. Right here. Obviously, the last one must be number 6. Okay. Now we just got the coil. Fat end goes on the coil. Alright. She should crank right up. Put the dipstick back in. Alright, so now we're going to move on to the next step. What we're going to do now is I'm going to take off the valve cover gasket, or the valve cover, place the gasket, because we got a pretty good leak over on this side. When I put in oil, you could pretty much see it coming out, and when it was running, it was coming out too. So we're going to put on new valve cover gasket now, and work on changing the oil after that. To remove the valve cover gasket, you just got these 4 flathead screws. One there, one here, one there, and one here. So that's all it is to it. I'm going to go ahead and set y'all up. Fast forward me taking it off, and then we're going to take it over there and clean it up, degrease it. I wouldn't mind painting it, but I don't have no engine paint for it. So with that being said, we're just going to put it back on as it is with a new gasket. Alright, so the valve cover is off. Here's a good look at all the valves, and everything looks pretty clean, honestly. They appear to be all oiling, but we're going to crank it up with the valve cover off and make sure of that. But as you can see, we have a piece of a broken gasket. I don't know if y'all can see that or not, but there's a piece of broken gasket in there. I'm assuming from the oil cap maybe. And the gasket here is lifting up, so definitely need one, or need it placed. And back here on the back, we got a nice crack in the gasket, so yeah, definitely good thing we're replacing it. And once I get it replaced, then we're going to work on changing the oil. That'll help it run a lot better. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and put a thick coating of degreaser on this. Let that start soaking in. Just like so. Let that soak for about 10 minutes. Then we're going to rinse it off. While the valve cover is drying, I went ahead and finished putting on the lower radiator hose. 16.5 inches is the measurement on it, and it's a pretty tight fit to the engine belt there, but you got a little bit of clearance, so it should be good. So still waiting on it to finish drying. I'm going to go ahead and start putting on a new gasket. Well, we're going to crank it up first and make sure we're getting good oil up here. New radiator cap. Alright, seemed to run good. Didn't hear no big noise coming from the valve train now. I think it just needs sitting, needs warming up from sitting so long, but all the oil passages seem to be working. So that's a good sign. Everything seemed to be nice and oiled up. Definitely need to fix this carburetor here. That's not a good sign. That's a fire hazard waiting to happen. So, gonna need to hurry up and rebuild that carburetor. And after that, I think we're good to go. Anyways, I'm gonna run out to town, get some oil, work on getting this oil changed. So here's the valve cover gasket that I bought. FEL-PRO quart gasket. There's all the information or anything. I'm gonna go ahead and put it on. Got the valve cover gasket on. This side looks great, nice and tight all the way down. But if we come back to the side where we was originally leaking, as you can see, the gasket is still loose. You can still move it. I'm not really sure why everywhere else is tight, but this one spot is just wanting to stay loose. I'm thinking the valve cover itself may be bent out of alignment or something. No idea. But so I'm not 100% sure that's going to fix the leaking problem. We may have to either get a thicker valve cover gasket or replace the valve cover altogether. But she is on there, and we're going to see if it maybe be a little bit better than it was. But I couldn't get up to town today to get the oil, so I guess we're going to leave the video here. But as you can see, she runs, sounds better. I'm going to crank it up one more time for y'all, see how it sounds with the valve cover on, and make sure everything's good with it. But like I said, I'm quite certain it's still going to leak. So here we go, going to crank it up for the last time for today. But anyway, I appreciate y'all for sticking with me and watching me tune up the old 57. Seeing her come back to life little by little. Just got to do the brakes, and we should be able to take it down the road. Oh, and I did buy a fuel sending unit for those that was watching me with the gas tank. So I am going to go ahead and put in a sending unit while I got it out. So I haven't put in the gas tank yet, but that is still to come. It's on its way in the mail, but y'all know with Christmas coming up, the postage is really slow right now. So as soon as I get it, we'll put that in and change the oil. We still got to do the brakes, gas tank, change the oil. Hopefully the fuel pump is good. If all that's good to go, we're going to take it down the road for the first time in 47 years. All right, appreciate it, y'all. Oh yeah, and the carburetor. Got to rebuild the carburetor. Get all that done, we're good to go. I think I'm gonna go ahead and start the video now on taking off the carburetor and rebuilding it, so we don't have the fire issue no more, you know, hopefully. I mean, we haven't had a fire, but I don't want one to start. Anyways, thank y'all for watching. Y'all be blessed. Please like, share, and subscribe. It's free to y'all, but it's worth $1 million to me. Please consider joining my channel too. It helps me out a lot. All right, later y'all. I love the squeak of a 57 or a Tri-5. She's ready to go now, boy. Old Chevys, man, you can't kill them. Alright, thank y'all for watching.